Today we are going to do the lesson number 3 from your textbook, which is Bromides and Sulfides, written by Jalet Burgess. Students, this is a light and short essay in which the writer has, in a very light manner, talked about the nature of people. In fact, he has divided humanity or human beings into 2 categories. The writer, Jalet Burgess, was an American artist, critic, poet, author, and humorist. He is best known as a writer of nonsense verse such as Purple Crow and for introducing French modern art in America. He is also credited with the introduction or with the coining of word blurb, which we commonly use, and it means, I hope you know its meaning, it means a short description of a book, film, or any other product written for promotional purposes. And Jalet Burgess is also credited for coining the usage of the word bromide as a personification of a sedate, dull person who say boring things. So he had used the word sulfides in his essay as well, but that word did not live. Coming to the essay, Bromides and Sulfides. As I have told you, the writer has been credited with the coinage of the use of this word bromide, as this word is used for describing people who are poor and dull. Similarly, he had in fact used the word sulfides in a sense for the people who were opposite in nature to that of bromides. With the title itself signifies or itself is used for building up the argument of the essay. Bromides and sulfides, in fact, points are towards the division of the people, which the writer has done in the essay. He has divided humanity, as I told you, into 2 categories, bromides and sulfides, and throughout the essay he talks about the qualities, the psychology, the behavior of the people belonging to these 2 types. The writer, according to the writer, bromides are the people who are large in number in this world. They are the people who copy trends. They don't have original thinking. They can be original, or their originality of thinking could be traced back to their grandmothers. Their reactions, their actions, their responses, their moves, they are all predictable. They are dull and boring. They are the people who follow set routines in life. They are the people who get regular haircuts. These are the people who go to office on time. They don't do anything. They obey the law of averages. They are very, very average, common people who do not do anything novel, who do not do anything new. They are, according to the writer, they are the people who follow the beliefs, routines, and ways of the majority of people, or the fashion. They do everything quite regularly, punctually, and they don't do anything in an uncommon way. Everything, even the most extraordinary things are done by them in a very common way. So they are common, average people. in their talks, in their behavior, in their ideas, in their outputs, in their dressing. If in everything about them is mediocre, ordinary, or average. Okay, do you get it? So these people, according to the writer, bromides constitute the larger group of people in our society, in this world, and they are the people who are very much common in their approach to life, in their living their life, in their behaviors and their thinking. And then the writer says that the bromide, these people, these bromides, they can't change themselves. They are the people who are what they are. It is like he says that these are the people who have got this mental makeup which they can't change. Their intellectual processes, according to the writer, are automatic. His train of thought can never get off the track. Okay, so the mental makeup, the arrangement of his brain cells is such that he will always have the same ordinary, commonplace ideas. The writer gives the example that a bromide can't react originally, can't react emotionally to a piece of painting. So his reaction, his response on seeing a painting could be easily predicted. He must feel and think in a very ordinary way and usual ways that becomes his unchangeable habits. So bromides are such people. When you look at a person who behaves in a routine manner, who follows the trends, whose actions, reactions, behaviors, responses, appearance is predictable, it is easy for you to tell that such a person falls in the category of bromides. Another important thing, the writer also says that the bromides are dull and boring. Okay, so bromides are dull and boring people. Now, dull and boring people, they are dull and boring people. They simply they can't make their they are not an interesting company, and because they don't say anything new, they don't they can't you can't keep their you can't enjoy their company. uh, they behave formally, they and that is why they are dull and boring. They would do anything quite in a usual manner. So they would not say anything new. For example, when they would listen to to a news item on TV, their response would be the one of majority. They would not see anything unusual about it. But in contrast to bromides, we have we have this sulfite. Now, sulfites are rational thinkers. When they hear some news, their response would be different from that of the majority of the people, from that of bromides. They are rational. They see extraordinary. They do ordinary things in an extraordinary way and extraordinary things in ordinary ways, as the writer has told us in the essay. Now, these people are unpredictable. How these people are unpredictable? Unpredictable You can't predict, you can't foretell, you can't tell beforehand what they are going to say, what they are going to do. Okay, unlike bromides actions and responses and speech according to the writer is predictable. But here, sulfites, you can't say what they are going to say the very next moment, or what is going to be their move in the very next second. So these people are unpredictable. However, they may, with their unpredictability, because of their unpredictable nature, they may shock you. They may give you a shock. How? By their shocking remark, for example, because you may be appreciating a piece of a painting for the artistic for the artistic expression of the artist, but this sulfite may find a point in that painting which no other bromide could find and would shock you. He can shock you by leaving a friend suddenly for no reason. So bromides are unpredictable. However, they are interesting. The writer says he will not bore you, but he may shock you. He can give others a complex joke, a puzzle, or a shocking violation of normal behavior. Then the writer says that, so again I have written, he may shock you by his unusual ways. And then they have strange ideas. For example, sulfite, as the writer says, a sulfite could save a drowning girl while keeping his pipe burning. So quite an extraordinary action, quite a strange idea of saving the drowning girl, isn't it? So the bromides and sulfites, they are opposites. They are contrast. They are not alike. The writer has used, in fact, the technique of contrast. He has highlighted the differences between bromides and sulfites. Now, what are the differences between bromides and sulfites? They are different in their thinking, in their behavior, in their reactions, in their following of trends, and they are a different. The company, one's company is boring, others is interesting, and then one is creative because of original ideas, and the other is dull and boring with nothing original about him. So we may say that the progress in the world has been made by the sulfites. And this is exactly what the writer has said over here. He has said that all the reformers, all the genius people, they were sulfites. He has included the artists in this list as well, because he says that sulfites are so because they do ordinary things in unusual ways and unusual things in ordinary ways. Okay, got it. So the usually artists, reformers were sulfites. Okay, they belong to the group of sulfites. Then the writer has used the technique of illustration to prove his point. What's his point? His point is he has divided human beings into two categories and he is justifying his categorization. He has categorized human beings on the basis of their nature and psychology and behavior. Now, first what he did, he pointed out the difference between the bromides and sulfites. So he has presented a contrast between the two types. Then he has given examples. Now, examples are have been given from literature and history. Examples which are included from literature are here listed over here on this slide. The first example is of Shakespeare, is taken from Shakespeare's tragic play Hamlet. In this play, the character of Hamlet, who was who was the Prince of Denmark. According to the writer, Hamlet was, according to the writer, that is Burgess, since Hamlet is imaginative and sensitive, and his actions throughout the play are unpredictable, therefore he is a Sulfite. Then Polonius, the father of Ophelia, the father of Hamlet's beloved, he was bromide. Brevity is the okay, is the soul of wit. Brevity is the soul of wit, the famous dialogue. Then Thackeray's novel Vanity Fair's characters have also been quoted by the writer. Now, Becky Sharp, according to the writer, is original in thinking, imaginative, and emotional. So, the writer has categorized this character as Sulfite. In contrast, in the same novel, we have Emily Sadler. This character follows set patterns of life. She thinks and behaves in common ways. So, the writer says she is a bromide. Then the writer has given the examples of the writers. The Victorian age writer, the Victorian age literary figures, George Bernard Shaw, according to the writer, he was an Irish playwright. According to the writer, because of the original thinking of Bernard Shaw and original and brilliant ideas, the writer says he was a Sulfite. In comparison to Shaw, his contemporary Mary Corelli, she was dull and uninteresting. Therefore, the writer says she was bromide. Now, sometimes there are personalities who belong to as a person who belong to one category out of the two, bromides and sulfides, but the work which they produced, the art they produced, belong to the other category. The writer has given the example of the writer of Alice in Wonderland, Lewis Carroll. According to the writer, Lewis Carroll was a bromide in his private life. In his personal life, he was a bromide. But the characters and the situations which he has created in his work Alice in Wonderland, they were quite extraordinary. That is why the product, the art which Lewis Carroll had produced, according to the writer, was sulfitic, but the author himself was a bromide. Similarly, Dr. Johnson, he was a sulfite in person. He was a great prose writer and with usual ideas. Therefore, his work is bromidic, but Dr. Johnson himself as a person was a sulfite. So, such kind of clash, the writer says, exists between the personalities and the work they produced. The writer has given examples from the history, rather from political history of America. He has given the example of two presidents of America, President Roosevelt and President Hoover, who was the predecessor of Roosevelt. Now, according to the writer, Roosevelt was a very popular president. He was very much loved by his people. He was loved because of his policies, and his policies were original and extraordinary. So, according to the writer, he was sulfite, and President Hoover, who followed set policies and set patterns in politics, according to the writer, he was a bromide. Now, a final word about the essay. As far as the division of people on the basis of their nature, psychology, their behavior is concerned, the writer is very realistic. The division is very realistic. And it is not only realistic, but it is universal as well. You can apply this division till to date. So it is not, the division is not outdated. The division is very much universal, and we can apply this division as well. And many of you students, I know many of you would be wondering which category I fall in, and in which category my friend does belong to. And then the techniques the writer has used are of contrast and illustrations from literature and history, and they are very aptly used by him. They are quite they are quite visible and quite convincing. And then another and then the reading of this essay leaves us with not only the question that which category do we fall and which type of people are my friends. It leaves us with another question, and the question is, what type of people do we need? Do we need bromide in our society or sulfites? Now sulfites, as I mentioned earlier, sulfites are smaller in number, whereas bromide are the majority of their bromides are majority in this world. Now, do we need more sulfites around us, or do we need more bromides around us? The answer is, we need both bromides and sulfides. We need leaders, especially I'm talking with reference to Pakistan. We need leaders who are sulfides, but sulfides like E.D. and Nightingale, like Muhammad Ali Jinnah. We don't need sulfides like Hitler or Stalin or Mussolini. We need sulfides who are who are like this E.T. or Florence Nightingale or Jinnah. Yeah? So we need such type of sulfides in our society. Okay, so we have discussed the title of the play. So students, the questions which come on this essay, we will be discussing those questions in our next video lesson. I hope up to now you have understood this essay, which is bromides and sulfides, which divides human beings into two universal realistic categories on the basis of their nature, their behavior, their reaction, their responses. And I hope you have enjoyed today's lesson. Thank you very much.